Hey guys, Spencer here, and this video just want to give you guys an understanding and a base idea of where I'm starting from, so you know where I'm at ground level, and then you can see where I'm going to go. Pretty much start off with this. For those of you who don't know, I'm a graphic designer, so I kind of went nuts on the computer and decided, well, let's make a layout of where I want to go. And so pretty much keeping it simple for my first layout, 2 loops connected by a couple switches down here. They're also going to lead off this area, printer kind of cut through, but there's going to be an area where I can store trains, basically a train lot. Some industrial buildings, full kind of street connecting that, and then a small little town. Basically kind of showing a rural area, so maybe some farmland backed up to some maybe trees or sparse trees. And you know, maybe a country store, a post office, that kind of stuff. Debating whether I'm going to put a trolley through that area. We'll see. Inner track's going to be elevated. The outer track, I think I'm going to lift off the board by an inch. They sell these really nice foam lifters, and as well as risers, and they're not that expensive. That'd probably be my one splurge. And I'll just kind of make it look better. Controls at the top, and again, this is DC, not DCC or AC. Although I haven't heard of anyone running AC in the States, but I'm sure someone is. So that's where I want to go. I'm going to show you some of the engines I have and kind of where I'm starting. So as you guys know, in my last video, started out with a lifelike set that my parents gave me when I was a kid, early 2000s, and that came with this engine. I'm assuming it was at the time that Walters actually bought known lifelike, because the controller's lifelike, the Pro-Lock track, which is, I think it's Pro-Lock track, yeah, really crummy track, but the engine is Walters, which is probably why this thing is actually held up pretty well, despite having, you know, chunks taken out of it and nicks and scratches. But I love this engine. It runs really well. It's pretty quiet, one of my quietest, and it pulls well. For being, you know, single drive. But as always, could use some cleaning. Probably should work on it a bit. Regardless, has a special place in my heart. And I also love the paint scheme. I've seen United States, like Army, military engines before, but I haven't seen them in red or with this paint scheme. If someone has, let me know in the comments. I've seen them in black, I've seen them in green with camo, but I haven't seen the red. So who knows, it could be an oddball, could be a rarity. But moving on, 3 engines, next which I bought. Bought them all at Whistle Stop Trains, which is on the east side of Portland. And I guess we'll start with the cheapest and low to the most expensive. This was a $10 engine. And you know, you kind of get what you get with 10 bucks. But this is an old Bachmann. I'm assuming from probably the 60s or 70s. Pretty heavy. Although in pretty good nick. All the railings are there. It does have, well, it did have horn hook couplers. I've since then put a Katy coupler in the back. And it's dirty and dusty, and it's, you know, not perfect on the outside, but it's adds some weathering look. I really love some of the attention to detail. I think it's missing a single light in the front, but otherwise the lights do work. They did test it for me. It ran okay. It didn't need any pushing, but didn't make some great noises. Guy lubed it up a little bit when I was there. I took it home, took it apart, and pretty much cleaned the crap out of this thing. Cleaned all the wheels really well, and there's a fair amount of backed up grease and hardened grease in the gears and transmission. So cleaned all that up, lubed it back up, and since then it runs pretty well. It's a loud engine, probably my loudest. That said, it doesn't sound like it's falling apart like it did, and it runs pretty good. Kind of slow, but I just make sure I don't give it too much to pull, and it does fine. Moving on to this one, I really love this one. I love the paint scheme. This is an old RSO, really good looking engine. Got it for 15 bucks, and I didn't have to do anything to this thing. The lights work front and back. It's a really, really good engine. There is one spot in the front, I could probably super glue that, but on the railing that's snapped, but if you don't look that close, you don't tell. Regardless, a real good engine, and I'm quite happy with this purchase because it is pretty clean. pretty quick too. I'm assuming it's a 3-pole motor because it just runs really fast. Horn hook on the front, Katy on the back. I kind of want to change this Katy, but it's an extended coupler. I don't know if I'm going to find that anywhere. If you know where I could find it, let me know. Kind of what it looks like. Yeah, not really sure, but regardless, that means I can pull both my, or move both my Katy coupler cars as well as my horn hook coupler cars, because I haven't transferred all of mine over, because some of them it was just too much of a pain to do. I tried and it just kind of failed with the materials I had. Maybe I'll try again later, but for now I'm kind of okay because I have some engines that can pull the old ones and some that can pull the new ones. Moving on to this one. This one was $25, and this I think is a real steal, especially at $25, even though that's kind of, you can get engines cheaper, as apparently shown. You can get stuff for a lot more expensive. So this one, all the railings are intact. I can't imagine that it's ever been run that much. I mean, the wheels have a little bit of wear, it seems, but not much. I didn't have to clean this thing. I haven't even taken this thing apart because it runs so well. It runs so smooth. Not the fastest one, but I'm assuming that'll help as far as pulls. I'm assuming it's got a 5-pole in it. It is another Bachmann, but this thing, I love the paint scheme too. It's a nickel plate road 904, and I just love it. I mean, all the detail, the little windshield wipers, even the 904 numbers in the front light up. It's got little engineers as well as the conductor in the engine. The only thing it is missing is painted glass here. Doesn't bug me too much. This one's a GP30 that I do know. This one was a GP40. I don't know what the switcher is, and I don't know what my original engine is. I'm assuming it's less than a GP30. It's smaller. Probably a GP, taking a shot in the dark, 18. Someone knows, let me know in the comments. Regardless, this, I think, is a really great engine. Runs really well, pulls really well. Really happy with that. This was another one I bought at Whistle Stop. It was another $10 engine. It's a Roco, made in Austria, so it's actually a European-based train. Burlington Northern paint scheme. It's in a bit rough condition. I believe this is an F2A. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm new into this. I'm kind of learning. So this is a really cool engine, and for $10, I figured, well, it'd probably be similar to this one. So I said, hey, can you throw it on the track? Show me what it does. And they're like, yeah, totally. And threw it on there, and it ran like clockwork. This thing was so smooth and pretty damn quiet. Sorry, excuse my language, but pretty dang quiet, and everything is functional. The only thing it is missing is a horn on the top, although it has the other one, so it doesn't look super ridiculous. Had the Katy couplers, and yeah, this thing, I took it apart just for kicks, cleaned it, cleaned the wheels, cleaned some of the gearing, and yeah, really happy with this purchase. I'm hoping I can find a B unit, Burlington Northern, that way I can have two hooked up together. That'd be great. Probably won't happen until I start building the layout though and have that kind of set up. Last but not least, and my most recent project. So actually this was an engine, and I bought this in eBay back before I had any of the new stuff. And it's an F9, it's a Bachmann, that's what it says. Something tells me it's not a Bachmann from the store. I'm not positive about that. I don't know, the outside shell just feels chintzier than the other ones. The paint scheme looks a bit suspect. I don't know, something about it was weird when I got it. The guy said it ran well. When I put it on the track, it didn't run well. Sounded like a machine gun just going dig, 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 dig. And took it apart and pretty much found that 2 running gears were cracked. And pretty much went to every single store, hobby shop, model train store, and even looked online, and no one's selling the right gear. I would ask if you guys know where to find it, but ultimately I'm not going to need it because I bought this B unit. The lady I bought it from said it was Great Northern paint scheme. I'm going with that. I have seen BNSF have a similar paint scheme. I'm not too sure about the differences. I'm assuming, I think this gray bar helps distinguish, but it's a 313B. This is also a Bachmann, so at least they're the same make. But essentially, I figured, well, this one doesn't run. I can't fix it. What if I turn it into a dummy? This one can push it. So that's what I did. I stripped this of everything, took the light out, cleaned everything up, took all the gears out, took the motor out, saved everything I could, because hopefully down the line, I might need something, but pretty much just made this a push car. That worked really well. And then I figured out, crap, the light doesn't work. So I decided, well, heck, I could probably wire from here to here, or really from here to here, since this one's getting power. So connected some wire from another engine as well as this one, and connected it to the engine on here, and pretty much I'm just running it from here down and into this engine and into the slot. So nothing super complicated, but these are now forever joined and the light works. So I'm really stoked about that. That's something I got done recently. And I also put Katy couplers in between to help them stay together better. Right now they have horn hooks on the front and back. I will change it eventually, I just haven't gotten around to it. The other thing, this was a $10 engine, so there are screws and posts that technically hold the shell on the chassis, but they're stripped pretty badly for some reason. I've rethreaded about 3 or 4 times, and I've spent probably a good hour and a half putting it on and then realizing, oh, I can't get it off again, and spending a good lot of time trying to get them back off. So for now, it's just going to be without screws. I'm okay with that. I'll figure something out, hopefully in the future. But ultimately, the last thing I need to do for this engine is I want to get a matching shell. So if it is a Great Northern, I want a Great Northern shell for this engine. Bachmann did sell some on their website. They're sold out. I don't know if they're going to sell them again. I would really love it if they did. So Bachmann, if you're listening, would really love, I believe it's your F7s, which is similar to the F9. I mean, there's very small differences, and those who know, you'll let me know in the comments. But it would fit over this, and it would be perfect. So if you could please make that again, that'd be great, because I haven't found much on eBay or Craigslist. So, but if you guys know of any sources that I can find a, Great Northern shell for a F7 or F9, anything that would really fit this, let me know. That'd be great. But ultimately, that's what I'm starting out with. I have some generic pull cars, cargo cars, both in Katy couplers and horn hook couplers, so they both can run. And right now I'm just running that power lock track and a simple loop around the tree, and then an extended loop, so I can kind of have 2 cars on there as once, but I can't run 2 trains on once. And I'm running a generic life-like controller that was from the same package that I got that in back way all those years ago. So the next couple days are gonna be big, hoping to get some good plywood tomorrow, and then the next couple days should be getting track, and I should be getting a controller, kind of praying and hoping. So we'll see within the next week or 2 that I can make that happen, and then I can start really getting going and laying things out. So hit that subscribe button, keep following the progress, more videos to come. Thanks guys.